The method that we're going to employ this semester for collaboration in Revit, since we have 2 to 3 group members per project, is by establishing a central file, a central model in the cloud, and then downloading local versions of that model, working on them locally, and synchronizing with this central model. This is probably a very similar method of collaboration that you're going to be using, maybe even in the workforce, or in Integrative Studio, in your next sort of comprehensive studio. But there's a bit of, I guess, theory that we have to sort of establish here. One person alone needs to establish the central model. That central model is never going to be opened. It can be opened, but it probably should not. And that central model is just going to collect all of the things, and then you're going to feed into these local models that you're locally modeling on your own computer. So this diagram from Autodesk breaks it down pretty easily. I'm going to talk about work sets and elements in those work sets maybe later in this video, but probably in another video. And in that local model, you're going to synchronize every time you have a change. If you want to see changes from your other group members, you also need to synchronize. They need to synchronize, and then you need to synchronize after. So this first tutorial is going to go over about setting up the actual central file. So I'm in a Revit file here, just the project base file. And what you need to do is go to the Collaborate tab and go to Worksets or to Collaborate. Let's hit the Collaborate button here. It's going to ask us if we want to do within our network or on BIM 360. We're not on BIM 360. We need to do that as a LAN. Also, log into your account right now. So before you hit Collaborate, go ahead and log into your Autodesk account. I think it auto logs in for you now that Autodesk has sort of changed things. This is now the central file, right? So what we need to do is we need to go to File, Save As, or Save. So Save is going to prompt you for establishing this as a central model. But let's go to Save As and go to Project here. And if we go to Options, you can see that what pops up is I can't not change this. This says make this a central model after save. We could probably keep the maximum backups to 20, but and then the thumbnail, you can just keep that active viewer sheet. But we probably want to change this open works at default to specify, and this is going to help you guys out if you don't want to see all of everybody's work at the same time. So I'm going to hit OK, and now we need to establish this file in the cloud. So this is where you're going to navigate to the Z drive. I'm just going to save it to my desktop here, but this is where you can go to the Z drive folder, use the same one that we've been using for Rhino, and just save it as project base. Project base is totally fine. I'm going to call this Workshare, and then I'm going to save this. It's going to take a second here. And this is the central file. So if you want to start modeling, you don't want to do anything in here. I've already set up some levels for you and some grids for you, and those are established onto what are called work sets. By default, when you start collaborating, if we hit the work sets button here, you can see that these two work sets are created, workset 1 and shared levels and grids. You should keep both of those, workset 1 for a variety of reasons, and shared levels and grids. That's where you should put all of your levels and your scope boxes and your grids. I'll go over this individually in another video. But we're just going to go ahead and quit out here. So once that's saved, I'm going to find that project, the Workshare. And so if I open it up this way, by double-clicking it in the File Explorer or whatever, this is actually reopening the central file. So we don't want to do this. What we want to do is we want to run Revit 2021 just off of our desktop, or if you do have a project, by the way, you can quit out of projects. I'll show you whenever this loads. It's just going to take a second because the site file is there. You can quit out of projects just by hitting that X, and now you're in the sort of Revit 21 project browser. But if I click this, it says Revit base Workshare. I'm going to open that, and this is by opening the central model. We don't want to do that, so I want to go to Open, find the project base Workshare, and I want to create new local. So again, that's just opening up Revit. So you could just use your project browser or your Windows browser, type Revit 21, open this up. This is what you should see. And then we're going to run open here and find that on the cloud. And then you want to open it up as a local file. I'm going to hit open here and we'll see. Because I specified the work sets, you can always say which ones you want to open. So let's maybe turn off that one. Hit OK. And then you'll see, because I didn't necessarily open the shared levels and grids, we're not going to see that level 1, right? And you probably have a bunch of other levels. You're probably always going to want to import yours. So I'll talk about, again, work sets in the next video and how to establish them. But that's going to help distinguish your work from your partner's work. And it also sort of helps establish ownership if you want to keep ownership over your elements. It also helps with visibility, and it helps keep the model sort of running pretty smooth, so you don't have to load everybody's stuff if you don't need to. And that is how you set up a central file. All you need to have is one person to set up that centralized file in the cloud. And then every time you want to open it, make sure you don't double click that central model. You need to go ahead and go to File, Open. Once Revit is already open, open a project-based Workshare or your project as a local file, hit open, and this is a local copy. So the next video I'm going to go over work sets and also synchronizing whatever is done in those work sets so that your group members can see it.